Hello, this is Darren.
And this is Paige.
And this is
Where's the Lemonade?
Where we talk about what happens when life throws you lemons.
Make some lemonade?
Maybe. Some weeks it's lemon squares.
Yeah, some weeks it's just lemons.
Yeah.
On today's episode,
We're going to talk about Even Stevens, not the Disney show.
but in life.
So we talked about this just yesterday. We've already done a episode on competing with your ex. This is not that.
No, competing with your ex, which is wrong, but sometimes takes you a while to figure that out.
Yeah, it does.
That's about almost one-upping, right? Like, oh, you hear about this and you want to do it better and you want to do it, Being even is, oh man, like they already got to do that and I want to do that. It's more about you want everything to be fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Fair and even, and because there's justice in the world. And yeah, there's no justice in divorced families. Sorry, people.
There aren't.
It is not even.
It's not. And it's funny because you don't recognize that you feel that way until something happens. Like maybe your ex gets a brand new car and then you think, well, I deserve a brand new car too.
Right. Yes, you do. You have that moment and you go, well, wait a second. Right. Or you hear that, they went on a trip or whatever. And, the same can go for how they feel about us. I mean, we get cars, we go on trips, but when it happens to you just for a moment, I should say now it's just for a moment. In the beginning, it was longer than a moment.
It was longer than a moment.
But now it's just a moment, right? Yeah. And you just go, hey, wait a second. Is that fair? Well, sure, people can make whatever decisions they want to make when it comes to trips or cars or whatever it is.
Or a new house or whatever it is.
Whatever it is, that's their decision.
It's strange because even though you're divorced, there is still some kind of connection.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of times that's around the kids.
Right.
So it's not just physical things that you see like that. It could be, well, the kids had a party at their mom's house, so now we need to have a party here for them.
Right.
Or they have their friends over at their mom's house, so now we need to have friends over here to try and make it equitable.
Right.
Right. So the kids feel comfortable in both homes or feel the same in both homes.
Well, and I think all that ends up doing is making the kids feel pressure, right? When you're like, oh, you had friends over at your mom's house? Oh, well, you should have friends over here. Oh, your dad threw you a party? Well, we should throw you a party. I think that just puts pressure on them to be like, oh, great. I don't want to have another party, or I don't want to,
Most kids never say that.
But you know what I mean? It puts pressure on them that doesn't need to be on them.
That's true. And we see this all the time with ourselves and with other couples. We've seen this, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, your mom got you an Xbox. I'm going to get you an Xbox and a PS4.
Right.
Or I'm going to get you an Xbox here too.
Yes.
Right.
That's more about the competing, right? That's more
kind of like the competing.
I want to one up. It's got to be better here. And you know what? It doesn't need to be better. The kids,
or even the same.
It doesn't even need to be the same. The kids will love you and what you have to offer at your house, and they'll love your ex and what they have to offer. It's different. It's different. It's not really even. Tough. It's tough. And let me just tell you, it takes a long time, I feel. It takes a while to get there where you can go, oh, that's nice. That's nice that happened.
Yeah.
It's hard.
That's really hard.
It's really hard. And time is really the only thing that...
Well, time, and then also your attitude. When
Yes.
we talked about this the first time, you said you need to remind yourself that the kids are the important thing and not you having them equal at both homes. Your kids love you.
Right.
They love you for who you are. So don't try and be equal in both homes. It's just not going to work.
Right. Well, and just like if you're not in a blended family, the dad might be the yes man and the mom might be the, bad cop, right? Like
that rarely happens.
But I'm just, doing a what if, right?
What if?
So I'm just saying you're not both going to be on the same footing, even in a traditional family.
Right. So do you think that, because I don't feel like they need to be even as much, except every once in a while, but do you think that both moms in the situation, the stepmom and the bio mom, kind of have this, well, we need them equitable or more even. Do you think women are more prone to that, or do you think it doesn't matter?
That's a good question, because women are typically, more jealous, more envy, right? That's just typically a woman thing more than guys. But I don't know. I
was
think
just thinking that just now. Maybe
I think in blended families, I don't know that it's always having to do with the women. It's just the situation. Yeah.
Well, just recently, one of my kids asked me a question about something. Says, I don't really know too much about that. And then they went and asked their stepdad, which he knows a lot about. And then I was like, well, I could have probably researched that. I kind of felt left out.
Right.
Right. But then I went, wait, I don't know anything about that. I have no desire to do that.
And you already said that you didn't.
And I already said that I didn't. So this is where it becomes difficult, right? Because you have to set your pride aside a little bit, and you have to say, well, I'm glad that my kids have a step parent that understands how to do that can do that stuff. Because that's something outside of my wheelhouse that I don't know how to do.
And what you just said is really the ultimate goal that we should all be reaching for, that in a blended family, that you can look at your ex and their new spouse and be happy for what they have to offer your kids instead of being jealous or trying to, you know what I mean?
That's a lot easier said than
done. That's what I'm saying. That's the ultimate goal that we're reaching for. And some of the times it happens easily, and we go, oh, that's so great that they have that opportunity, or that they have that over there to help them. But most of the time it's hard, and you have
especially if it's really close to something that you do.
Yes.
See, that would be
right.
be really tough.
Yes. Right.
Right. But for example, my kid's stepdad is great at sailing.
Yeah.
Right. And fixing cars and things like that. I am not.
Right.
Right. But if I were semi good at fixing cars, boy, I would feel like, wait, I'm your dad.
Right.
Even though he could do a better job at it.
Yeah.
I'm your dad. You need to ask me first.
Right. I want that opportunity first.
I want that opportunity first because I want,
because I'm your dad.
I'm your dad.
Right.
Right. You got to set that aside and realize your kids now have two dads,
right.
one bio dad and one stepdad.
Right.
That have two different things to offer.
Yep.
That is really hard.
It's very hard. And I think that's even harder for women.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because women were just, you know why. Guys, their minds just, you can have that brief moment where you go, oh gosh, I would have liked to have done that. And
so we
can
compartmentalize.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and then women, we think about it and we overthink it, and then we think about it some more, and then we overthink it some more. And
maybe they love the other parent.
Yes.
More.
We overthink everything so much that we can't let it go easily. So it's even harder most of the time. I'm making generalities here, right. But most of the time I think it's even harder I don't have the situation yet. My kids do not have a stepmom. And so I don't have those feelings yet, right? I am a stepmom, but my kids don't have a stepmom.
Yeah, but you still have those feelings from the stepmom perspective, which is, oh, I wish I could go buy a prom dress with
absolutely
my stepdaughters, but I know
my place.
Moms.
Yes, and I remind myself all the time that is not my
really
place.
Hard, honey.
It is hard because we still have your kids half the time, right?
Well,
they are here half of their lives. They're with us, and we're raising them half the time. But I love them all the time, right? Yeah. I love them full time, and it is hard when I feel like, oh gosh, I'd like to have that opportunity. But then I have to remind myself, what if that was me? What if that were my kids doing something with their stepmom, right? That, oh, well, I'm going to go with my stepmom to get my prom dress. I think I would die on the floor right there. So I quickly just remind myself that not my place, and step back. And right. Yeah, it's hard though. It's hard. And the whole step parent blended family, it is not for the
weak of
the
heart.
weak of heart.
Nope. It's not, well, and then also remember, I guess the best part that we can take out of this is it's not going to be even at both homes.
It is not going to be
with,
even
with physical
anything,
things, emotional things,
with
kids,
with clothes, with shopping, with anything. It's not going to be even.
So, I mean, what advice do we have? Be yourself, I guess. Right?
That is, you know what? That is our advice. Be yourself and try and always remember what is best for the kids.
Okay, we talked about us parents wanting things even. Now, something interesting is happening. Our three amigos, the three little ones that had been raised together basically for the last 9 years, they're now in their teens. They are starting to kind of voice their opinions a little bit about equity in both homes.
Yeah, sometimes they want things even. They want things to be magnificent at each home. They want things to be a party at each home. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but they're starting to feel now maybe left out. Like our 15-year-old daughter, Madeline, right? She came to us the other day and said, "You guys went and got sushi without me?" And then literally the next couple days later, her mom took her older brother out for sushi as well. So she missed sushi twice.
Yep.
In a week. And from her perspective, I missed out. That's not fair.
That's not fair.
Even.
Yep. Well, it was even. She missed out on both houses. So kind of even. But no, they're starting to feel like, oh, well, she hates that she misses out on things when we do things here, but we can't have the world stop turning when they're not here.
So there's that fear of missing out, the FOMO.
Yes.
That she's starting to feel. And I think the other two kids are feeling that sometimes too in different ways.
Yeah. I mean, for our listeners, if we need to remind you, we have my son, Sam, 100% of the time, he's 14, nearing 15. We have him all the time. So, and then we have, your kids half the time. So every other weekend, we don't have your kids. Well, we can't just not do anything for the weekend because we don't have your kids, even though that is kind of my first thought, like, oh, we should go to the movies. Oh, but I want the kids to come with us. But we have Sam, and I don't want Sam to ever think, oh, great, we only do things
when all the kids are here.
Right, because that's not fun for him.
Oh.
So we have to keep the wheels of life turning, but it's hard for the other kids to hear, oh, and in fact, just this last week when Madeline came back, she was like, all right, go ahead and tell me, lay it on me. What are all the amazing dinners you had while I was gone? She's just like, oh, fine. You guys ate all these great things, or what are the fun things you did while I was gone? And that's hard.
Well, and then, so my kids miss out on some of the things that we do with Sam. And sometimes even with their older siblings when they were living with us this summer.
Right.
But Sam also misses out on things that his siblings, and he's very tight with these two, with Madeline and David, that they get to go do with their mom.
Right.
And their stepdad, maybe go sailing or go camping or on a hike.
Yeah, or whatever.
And they come back and Sam's like, well, I didn't get to go on that.
Right. And he doesn't get those. It's
not like he missed out. It's just,
it was never going to happen for him.
It was never going to happen. So, but understanding that he's going to feel that way is important. But at the same time, we don't want my kids to not come back and tell us the fun that they had.
No, I always want them to tell us and feel like they can tell us,
So this is a tricky situation.
It is tricky. It is very tricky. And yeah, I don't know what the answer is. The only thing I can say is when the kids come and tell you what they did at their other parent's house, to be excited for them and happy for them. And this is where I don't know, like, I don't want to try and hide what we did from them, but I also don't like to rub it in. It's a weird thing when they come back and they're like, oh, what'd you guys do?
Oh, we went to Hawaii for the weekend.
Well,
you weren't here. No, that would never happen.
I wish. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's this, you don't want to keep it from them because then they're going to feel bad if they hear about it and they're like, oh, well, that's interesting that I didn't hear it from them. You know what I mean? Like,
so I guess we have to teach them, the three of them, with our own things. We have to celebrate good things that happen to each other. Maybe it's not happening with us, but it's happening with them, and we should be happy for them. And if we are, then, they can feel that. They're going to open up more, and I think they'll draw closer together.
Yeah.
That can be hard.
It can be really hard. This is all really hard.
But we have to, as parents, do that first.
Right.
Right. So we have to encourage them to tell us and say, that is wonderful. You got to go, skiing or sailing or whatever it is, or
Right.
camping.
Right.
That's great. Tell me more about it. Let me see the pictures.
Yeah.
That's where you form really strong bonds. And the kids will see that and they'll want to share too.
And for those of you listening in a blended family situation, and you're sitting here thinking, that is so hard, right? To ask and to hear about, oh, and we did this and we did that. And oh, my, mom or my dad or my stepmom, my stepdad, we did this and they took me to do this. It's hard. It feels like a knife is just like poking your heart. It is. Hang in there. It'll get easier, but keep asking them, because that is it's so good for them that they feel comfortable telling you what went on at the other person's house, even though it's so hard, especially to look at the pictures and you're just like, oh, like killer. This is hurting me.
But put your pride aside.
Yep.
And celebrate your kids. That's one of the things. Now, another thing that we've fallen into the trap of is we'll go, hey, we're going to watch this new series, right? That maybe just came out on Netflix or something. And we go, well, maybe we should wait for all the kids to be together to watch it.
We do that all the time, because I'm like, oh, we do. I do that. I sit there and go, oh, we should wait and watch that with the kids. Right?
Yeah. And then they come here and they goes, oh yeah, we already watched that at my mom's.
And we're like, oh, okay.
Well, all right, then do we watch it again? I mean, this is where things get, it sounds kind of silly, but it's tricky.
It is tricky. And the series thing is a little bit easier to get, but we've run into this with movies.
Yeah,
like
new releases of movies.
A new release of movie, right? We're super excited to go see this movie.
When there used to be new releases of movies.
Yes, pre-COVID. And, you're super excited to take the kids to go see the new, Harry Potter or whatever it is.
Marvel movie.
Yeah. And you tell them, hey, next week when you're here, we're going to go see that. And you would think that would be okay to say that to your kid. But then if they're at the other parent's house when the movie came out first and they go, hey, we're going to go see this weekend. And they're like, oh, well, I know that dad said he was going to take us next week. That puts the kid in a tricky spot.
I know.
Right? So the kids, so we've experienced this before. The kids have said, oh, well, my mom was going to take us, or my dad was going to take us to go see that. And we go, oh, and then we think, so do we still take them? It's tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky. Well, our kids have said to us, we see all the new releases twice.
They have said that a lot, that in their lifetime, they have seen a lot of movies twice, because each parent is excited to take them to see this new release movie, right? And
so I guess the best solution to this is to communicate with the other parent. Maybe.
Yeah, that's in an ideal situation, right? Like, hey, but I mean, how do you do that? Hey, this time you can take them to see the new release movie. Like, that's just kind of silly.
It is.
Right.
Well, the end goal is that were you sitting in the dark together, or the real fun is when you talk about the movie afterwards.
Right.
So maybe taking a different approach to it and saying, all right, you guys are going to see the movie this weekend. We're going to see it too. You're not here, but when you come back, we can talk about it. And
right.
Because that's the exciting part.
Right. And you know what? And I think one of our kids said this. I don't remember who said it. One of the older kids said, it's not the worst thing in the world to see a movie twice. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's not the worst thing, but just remember, I guess, why are you taking them to see it twice? Is it because you do want to experience with them, or are you now going,
well, it needs to be even in both houses?
Yes. Are you just so bent on having it be even, or do you really want to see it with them? And you know what? If that's the case, then go ahead and see it again. There's nothing wrong with seeing a movie twice, but just make sure your motives are right for the child, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, another thing that we find, and luckily we nipped this in the bud early on, was birthday parties.
Oh yeah, that was yes. You guys did nip this in the bud real quickly.
I mean, like the first year.
Yes.
The kids don't need 2 birthday parties.
No, not with friends or anything, right?
Right,
They can have
so-
2 parties with their families.
Yeah, with
of
their
course.
families. But so it was interesting because right early on, my ex and I, we said, okay, evens, odds. You get odd years, I get even years.
Right.
There's no reason to do it twice.
And that makes sense. Then you're not fighting over it. It was laid out. It wasn't
Well,
like
I
want-
got mine first and you got yours. How
Yes.
come you did yours 2 weeks before their birthday?
right. And that's really putting the kids in the middle.
It is. So that one is an easy remedy.
Yep.
Go ahead and do that because the birthday parties come every year,
Yes.
right?
No, that is actually, you're right on that. Go ahead and implement that. I would say this is a no-brainer. Just put it out there. You can do odds, I can do evens, and
Or maybe you don't like throwing birthday parties.
yeah, and so you go, oh, that's just going to be something that your dad does for you, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But we've also fallen flat on our face with keeping things even.
A gazillion times.
One of the most notorious ones is the pumpkin patch.
Oh, do we have to talk about that?
I think it's hilarious. But no, it was bad for a couple of years. We went to a pumpkin patch. The next year, my ex took the kids to the same pumpkin patch before we had a chance to. So then we found a bigger pumpkin patch to take the kids to.
That was more competing, I guess, than even.
Yeah, it was.
It was, because I was like, wait a second, that was the pumpkin patch that we used to take him to. Like, yeah, so stupid. So stupid. And you know what? Big deal if the kids go to a pumpkin patch twice. They probably would have loved it.
Yeah, they probably would have.
But yes, that was in the beginning, and that was very much like, well, like, yeah, lame.
Yeah, lame. And if you do that, just change. Just don't do it again.
Yeah, you know what? You're going to make a lot of mistakes. I mean, it is like a minefield. Being in a blended family is a minefield. And
an emotional minefield.
Oh my gosh. Emotional, financial, you name it. It's a minefield. And you're trying to do better each day. At least, I shouldn't say that. You should be trying to do better each day.
Some days you don't.
Some days, yes, you don't quite make it. But that should be your goal. And you know what? 9 years in, oh my goodness. Like
It's a 9-day.
Oh my gosh. We look back at things and just go, pff. But your emotions were so heightened in the beginning. And now you're just like, now we can focus on what's best for the kids. And I'm so glad that that's where our focus is.
Now, we've only talked about what the kids want things to be even on opportunities or fun things. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's chores.
Oh, I actually feel really bad for the kids on this one, because we've had this where they came back and we're like, okay, it's Saturday. We're going to do yard work. We're going to,
Well, I just did yard work
clean
at
room.
my mom's.
Yeah. Oh, well, I just spent a whole day doing yard work. I just spent the whole day cleaning my room and my bathroom. And now they have another room and another bathroom and another yard. And I just go, I'm a sucker for that one. I'm like, oh yeah, just don't worry about it. Because I do feel bad.
Well, and then like Sam only has one house to worry about.
Yes.
So, and then I feel like, well, should I wait to do this reconstruction in the backyard for David and Sam?
Right. Yes.
Which I only have David every other weekend. So
Right.
the project doesn't, or do I just plan things and whoever's here is helping out?
Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard because you don't want your kids to miss out on opportunities to learn, to build something or be involved with that project.
Or learn hard work or responsibility.
But yet waiting every other weekend to do projects, drags things out. It's tough. It's tough to find that balance.
Or are they feeling like they're just slaves at both homes?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, like David, he's got to keep 2 rooms clean. And that's hard, just keeping 1 room clean for a 13-year-old boy.
I do have a solution to this one.
What's that?
A housekeeper. Maybe that should be in the divorce settlement that both of you have to have a housekeeper so the kids don't have to do any chores. Wouldn't that be nice?
No.
I'm just kidding. That's clearly not the solution, obviously.
Kids need to learn hard work.
Yes, they do. But I do feel bad sometimes when they're just like, oh, I just
But you know what? Our kids have never pushed back.
No, they might make one comment like, oh, that's funny. I just did this at my mom's house, right? They might say something like that, but they just jump right in and
Yeah, they get moving right away.
I mean, because what
else?
What else? Are you going to complain about it? I mean, that's fine, but you still have to do it.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that we've told the kids is life just isn't fair.
It's not.
And it's kind of, as a parent, sometimes you feel bad because you put them in this situation. They did not choose this.
That is correct.
But don't let that guilt that you have because you've destroyed their lives stop you from parenting.
Right.
Right. And become that Disneyland dad, as they used to say, or no, the kids don't have to do chores here because I want them to love me.
Right.
That's just not good for kids in general. They need to learn responsibility. They need to learn boundaries, fun, work.
Yep.
All those things all fit in. So I guess our story is do the best that you can to continue to parent like you normally would.
Right.
Even though it's not.
Yep.
So. Okay, our lemonade moment of the week has to do with Halloween decorations.
Yes, so I would say the lemons used to be like it was you.
I dreaded this time of year.
You hated it because it goes from this time of year it's Halloween and fall. Then I take the Halloween down, fall stays up, take the fall down, Christmas goes right up. I mean, so our house is decorated for 3 solid months.
4.
Okay, who's counting?
Which is fine. Except I had a long period of time where I didn't have to worry about this stuff. And all the stuff is in containers in the garage. And I don't have to look at it. And then all of a sudden, and I don't know how it happens, but Paige goes, we're decorating the house tomorrow. And I'm like, oh.
How does that happen? Because October comes? I don't understand what you're...
I can't predict the exact day.
You can't predict October coming?
I predict October coming, but I don't know if it's the end of September or the first week in October. So there's a 2-week period where I really should just be traveling for
You just
work.
need to be on alert, okay?
Yes.
Just be on alert.
And COVID locked me in. I couldn't travel during this time to avoid it.
Oh, well, and to give people just a little perspective, there's 11 bins of Halloween and fall stuff.
That's just Halloween.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's 11 bins. So it's not like it's 1 or 2 bins. Like it's all out here. It's a go. It's a go. It's a go. Halloween and fall is a go here.
Yes. It is.
So, but the lemonade of this is piece of cake now.
Oh, we can get it done in a day now.
Yep.
I know where everything is in the garage. It's all organized better now.
Well, and you and Sam and David, if he's here, you guys usually take the outside and I take the inside. And there's a few things inside that I need your help with, but
right.
But yeah, it's like you guys, and so I love that. I love that I don't have to focus on the outside. You guys do it and you have me come out and look at it. I focus on the inside, and I think it's worked out well.
It has. And it all happens in 24 hours.
That's right.
Beautiful.
If you like today's episode,
give us 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, Google.
And head to Facebook and like us.
And check out our blog at where'sthelemonade.org.
Where you can leave questions and comments.
But most of all,
go out and make some lemonade.
You betcha, baby.